Hello and welcome to another episode of TrekHammer, where we're talking about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 2, Episode 7, Those Old Scientists. Okay, so the first thing I have to say is this one has been built up quite a lot. Even before the series started, we all knew there was going to be a crossover between Star Trek Strange New Worlds and Star Trek Lower Decks. I love both series, so I was very interested in how this would work. And unfortunately, I think it's been hyped up a little too much, because I went into it expecting something great, because it was hyped so much. Whereas what I should have done is go in expecting an interesting episode, and then I wouldn't have been disappointed like I actually ended up being. Spoiler alert. So the plot is fairly simple. A character from the future accidentally goes back in time, and although they don't want to change the past, and the people in the past don't want them to change the future and all of that from their point of view, they of course end up gushing all about all the people that they're meeting, the historical significance of it, because it's the Federation flagship, it's the Enterprise. They're going to know about it. So that was standard fare. I had no problem with that. It's what would actually happen. My problem is, this is a Strange New Worlds episode where the main focus character is not a member of the Strange New Worlds cast. The focal character is Boimler from Lower Decks, which means really this should have been a Lower Decks episode. It would have been far more appropriate when I'm thinking about it, because the tone of the piece doesn't really fit Strange New Worlds. It's far more like a Lower Decks episode. And maybe it should have been a Lower Decks two-parter, make it very interesting, and then it would have fit more, because the tone doesn't feel like Strange New Worlds. It has a quite fast-paced thing, it's got all the references going, it very much is Lower Decks, only in live action, which is why I didn't like it as much. So, the character of Boimler is spot on. His voice actor is doing the part perfectly. He's got the walk, he's got the mannerisms, he's got the tone. Of course he's got the tone, it's the same actor. So that was great. He does it well. My problem is that he doesn't work as a real character. He is a parody character from a cartoon, and putting him into live action without changing anything, it's understandable, but it doesn't work. Not from my point of view. So that was a problem for me. And then Mariner turns up as well, who is essentially in the show, in Lower Decks. She's a good-natured agent of chaos. That's the best way of describing her. She is Starfleet. She's got a lot of Starfleet's ideals, but she does things her own way. And a lot of people get knocked about and put out of the place in the process of her getting the job done. So I was very much aware that she was going to be like the disruptive element for the episode when I knew she was there. But she's not. And this is the weird thing. Boimler is done well, but Mariner is practically a different person, which doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, is this the Mariner that we're going to see develop and become a thing in Season 4? Because it's not the Mariner from Seasons 1 to 3. It's a very strange situation we've got here. So she felt like she was back in time, and all of a sudden she was being super respectful of Uhura, and really, really liked hanging out with her, and was almost fangirling the same as Boimler was. But that's not the Mariner that we know. Mariner, she's got a lot of issues, and normally she works through them and is a very fast-paced, bam, 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 get things done kind of character. And she wasn't here. She was just kind of slowed down and very much letting other people get on with things and trying not to disturb the timeline and all of that. It's like, that's not Mariner. That's not Mariner. She would have been, right, here's what we have to do to get back so that we don't screw things up. But she wouldn't have said that. She'd have said, here's what we've got to do to get back, you dumbasses, and that kind of thing, and then gone and done it. So that was weird, and I didn't like it, because it feels like it's not the character. If that's the character they wanted to put forward, they should have sent Tendi back instead of Mariner. But Tendi's hardly in it. Rutherford's hardly in it. 2 of the 4 main characters from Lower Decks are there for a couple of bits at the start, a couple of bits for the end, and then nothing. I was watching this with my wife, Jen, and she pointed this out as well. It's like, where are the other 2? Why can't they be in the episode as well? And yes, I completely agree. Because they were on the planet next to the time thing at the start and at the end. They could have come through with Mariner. They didn't. I'd like to know why that wasn't explained. So it feels almost as if these two voice actors aren't in the Actors Guild or something like that, so they can't come over. It felt like external reasons for why they couldn't come into the show rather than internal reasons, if you know what I mean. So I didn't like that, because Rutherford would have had that situation sorted, just like that. He's the tech guy, he's the tech genius, he's LaForge, basically, and he would have got it sorted. But instead, he's stuck in the future and doesn't take part? I don't get it. Tendi has a personal stake in the episode. It's like, seriously, the character with the personal reason for making sure the timeline doesn't get changed is not in the main part of the episode. Why? That's the overall thing I got from this. Why? If you're going to do this, then why make Tendi's past a main focal point? That we can't change the past because then Tendi might not exist. Then put Tendi in the damn episode so that we can see the personal drama. There's no personal drama for the entire episode. None. It's Boimler not wanting to change the future so that his friend doesn't get hurt. That's nice. But he changes the future all the time by wandering around and talking to all these people. There's no personal stake. So the entire episode feels soulless because there's no personal thing. There's no stake properly in there, apart from, we might get stuck in the past and we need to go home. Yeah, that was a given. That was a given for any time travel episode. Moreover, the Strange New Worlds cast have next to nothing to do except for being historical curiosities for the Lower Decks crew. So there's no real growth from there. Spock smiling. Yeah, we all know he smiled in the cage and he was a bit emotional. And I think that's what they're referencing and all of that. But it's like, guys, come on. There's got to be more than that. That was the only bit of character development for the entire Strange New Worlds crew. Well, aside from Nurse Chapel got to be a little bit upset that she knows that her and Spock aren't going to make it as a couple. But apart from that, what else? It didn't... Coming back to it, soulless again. It felt like a novelty episode when it could have been an awful lot more, and that's what really upsets me about it. Now, were there good things? Yes. All the characters were pretty good. They acted well. It was a good performance. Direction, could not fault it. It was really well directed. What else was there? There was a nice redo of the intro sequence, so it was animated. And I really loved to see that. That was great. It was a lot of fun. I loved the little references to Lower Decks, but doing the Star Trek Strange New Worlds intro. So that was lovely. Seeing the original Enterprise in animated form was actually really good. Like, that was wonderful. I loved it. It looked great. The original Enterprise looks great in animated form. Yeah, that's it. That's all the good parts. Which is why, for the first time, I'm going to go with a review Warp Factor 5, please. Because it could have been so much more. It should have been so much more. Put Tendi in it. Get a personal stake. Or, if you're not going to have Tendi for some reason the actress can't come in. I don't know why. But if you can't do it, make it a personal stake for one of the people you can bring in. Otherwise, there's no real, we've got to see this through because it's personal. Bring the audience in, please, rather than just have it as a celebration of Star Trek. Otherwise, you haven't really got something that's going to grab people, and it's not going to be one that you want to watch again and again and again, which, really, Star Trek should be. So anyway, that's what I've got for you. It's interesting that they released it early. Let's put it that way. I know it got shown at San Diego Comic-Con or whatever SDCC is. I think that's what it is. I know it got shown there because it was shown over the weekend. And as a result, I think they've put it out for everyone else because, well, there's going to be spoilers. It's automatically going to be spoilers when you show it early. So that was interesting. But it does mean that we haven't got a TrekHammer for Thursday, really, unless they move forward everything else, which I don't think they're going to do. But it was, it was interesting to see that come out of the blue, essentially. They didn't build this up. Wonder why. Okay, guys, thank you so much for it. I think I've got my point across, that it could have been more than it is, and it's a bit disappointing. But I hope that if you don't agree with me, that you understand why I feel this way. And if you don't agree, I would love to see why in the comments. And if you do agree, I'd love to see why in the comments. So yeah, leave a comment. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. If you could remember to like, comment and subscribe, it really does help the channel out. It stops us from getting buried by the YouTube algorithm. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, I've been Zoe Kirk-Robinson. You've been watching TrekHammer. Live long and prosper. I'll see you next time. If you like the show, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It really does help create future videos. That's patreon.com/Zoe Kirk-Robinson. And I've got an extra special thanks going out to Chief89, Sam Yates, Retro Mickey82, Mo Henry, and George Bortorini. Thank you so much, guys.